But there was another mass shooting this week, and it comes off the back of endless mass shootings, more this year already than any other recorded year, nearly 200, I think, now. And the sort of scale and volume of these mass shootings seems to be getting worse and worse. What is the answer? I mean, what do you think can be done? Because 1 million new guns are sold every month. So the volume of guns in circulation exponentially increases. The power of them seems to be getting bigger. Young people seem to be suffering, in particular, a lot of mental health issues. And it's turning into this awful Groundhog Day cocktail of people apparently going mad and committing heinous mass shootings. What do you think the answer is?
Kind of here we are again, right?
Right.
And I think, I know you're a father and I'm a mother, and it's painful to see any loss of life, especially, you never expect your children to die before you do. And in some of these shootings, we've had children dying and adults dying. And we just had a car run down a bunch of people recently as well. We're not banning cars or attempting to ban cars.
You're regulating cars. Often,
we're regulating them from driving through crowds.
Well, no, but it's a very interesting piece by Nick Kristof in the New York Times a few years ago, comparing what happened actually with car regulation and comparing it to gun regulation. That cars used to kill a lot of people in America, going back 100 years when they first came along. And they brought in a series of regulations, from wearing seat belts to having to have insurance to having to be registered for them.
But that doesn't, Piers, that doesn't stop someone driving a car into
here's my point. My point was that his point was, in this very interesting column, was that there were a series of regulations were brought in, and the combined effect was that the mortality rate from car deaths decreased.
But we're talking about separate things.
I know, but hang on. But you raised cars. They decreased by 95%. And it was a very interesting piece, which is, why don't you just regulate guns like you did cars?
There are millions, tens of millions of gun owners in America who wouldn't dream of doing a mass shooting. They're legal, they own their guns legally, and we have a Second Amendment. It's a God-given right. It's in our Constitution.
Do you think the Founding Fathers, though, would they have been comfortable, Kari? Would the Founding Fathers have been comfortable watching this absolutely never-ending series of mass shootings? Would they have thought that was what they meant by the Second Amendment? Or would they have looked to perhaps to tailor it to modern times?
The Founding Fathers would have never been okay with what they're seeing right now, which is tyranny on our land once again. And the Second Amendment was put in place. We already pushed back the tyrants once, and we didn't give up. We clung to our guns.
Who's the tyranny from?
The tyranny was from the monarchy.
No, but now.
Back. And now we're seeing an overreaching government. We're seeing a lying media, lying to us, taking our livelihoods away with COVID restrictions and imposing all of that on our children and on our families and on our education. And we don't want to have to throw back the tyrants again, but they put that in place to prevent us from having to do that, to protect us. I will tell you this as a mother, I'm horrified to see anybody hurt, but I don't know, you haven't been on the streets of America lately.
Oh, I have, yeah.
The crime is out of control.
I've seen it.
It's not safe to walk down these Democrat-controlled cities.
And by the way, I'm not making...
No. The murder, you can be raped and murdered on the subway.
I am not, by the way, I'm not making...
And I'll tell you what, let me finish my thought.
Okay.
I am a much better mother that I have firearms and can protect my family. And I will protect my family. You call 911 right now, you can't get someone to show up at your house, Piers. And there's crime and violence happening on our streets, and we need to protect